Yo, what's going on today, guys? I'm back here for another video. This time I'm going to be doing a classic series that I have on the channel when a new expansion is running towards its end, as the mini set comes out on Thursday. So I'm in a weird position where I really don't want to do a deck profile, so I'm going to be a yapper. Anyways, we are talking about the best and worst Pokemon for every type from the new set. So for grass types, honestly, bro, there's kind of a lot of just garbage, like a lot of filler that nobody runs. But in my humble opinion, I think Tangrowth is the worst new card. 4 energy for 90, like, yeah, it's a stage 1 dude, but just go play Venusaur. Like, if you don't want to play an EX Pokemon like equivalent, literally I would rather play the non-EX Venusaur than this. And like, you theoretically can play it with Superior, so you only need 2 energy. But at that point, why would you play a stage 2 with this when you could just play Venusaur, which is also a stage 2? So in my opinion, I really think Tangrowth is kind of garbage. Not only that, but like, it heals 30 damage, but it only has 130 HP. Like, that's not that tanky in this meta, as like a lot of things can like threaten 100 plus damage. Not only that, but it's like a 3 retreat cost, so like if you have it in, you're never gonna be able to retreat it. I don't really just think it's good. And next up for the best grass type is pretty obvious. We have Yanmega EX. And yeah, I mean, Yanmega EX is super strong. It played with either Dialga or Executor. 120 damage, one-shots Darkrai and Weavile. And, you know, I guess Pikachu and Pachirisu if you are playing against those type of cards. Yeah, I mean, it's a very simple card. It's just 120 damage for 3 energy. It's a stage 1. 140 HP, pretty tanky. So yeah, it's just a solid, strong card. And because the best card is an EX Pokemon, what I traditionally do if the best Pokemon is an EX, I will always give a non-EX counterpart. And the best non-EX is going to be Shaman, as it is a generic card. Most people don't attack with it anyways. They just use this for its ability to heal 10 damage every turn. Basically, it's just a better Butterfree because you don't have to evolve it. It's just a basic, like, yeah, you get like 10 less healing, but like you don't have to like play Butterfree in your deck, and Butterfree sucks. So it's just super good. Yeah, I mean, it's just a nice card. It's a mini potion basically every turn. Next up, we have the fire types, which, I mean, we really don't have a big selection. In my opinion, the worst card is Heat Rotom. 80 HP, alright, as a basic, that's pretty solid. 2 energy though, and it does 30 damage, and if it hits heads, it does 30 more. But that's for 2 energy. Like, honestly, at that point, personally, just play the 1 Executor EX, and then 2 is just a regular Executor. And I'm pretty sure there's like you all play Ninetales or something. Like, yeah, it's a stage 1, but dude, just don't play Heat Rotom. This card is just not good. And next up for the best, it should be pretty obvious. We have Infernape, 140 damage, 2 energy, 170 HP, so it's super tanky, no retreat cost. The only downside is it's a stage 2. I literally think if Infernape was like, obviously, you know, if there's like a similar card but it was a stage 1, I think it would actually be meta relevant. But sometimes you can get like the inconsistencies of those stage 2 decks. Plus Charizard exists, so like, why play Infernape when you could play Charizard and guarantee you one-shot everything? And the best non-fire type, I'm gonna be real, I can't give you one because there's not, like, they're all pretty mid besides Infernape EX, so I'm gonna give you a second best fire type from this set. I'm just gonna keep it real. Next up for water types, we actually have a lot of solid cards. I mean, we have Empoleon, Palkia, Manaphy, we have my boy Mamoswine, but unfortunately Mamoswine I think is the worst water card. And that's only because 4 energy, 120 stage 2, like, yeah, we have thick fat ability, but at the same time, like, Abomasnow is also 120 is a stage 1 for the exact same thing. So unfortunately, it gets outclassed by a card in the very same set as it. But next up for the best, I mean, it should be very obvious. We have Palkia EX, 150 damage, 4 energy, does discard 3, but because it has its partner in crime, Manaphy, very easy to ramp up energy on it. Not only that, but Misty is a card that does exist, and if you guys have seen my channel, you know how much I hate that card. But yeah, even it has 30 damage for 1 energy, very solid. It is just a super strong card. Honorable mention though, Empoleon is actually very slept on in my opinion. So next up, electric types. I'm not even gonna have to click on the cards. We all know Magnezone is broken and literally can be played in any deck because of the old Magneton. And I'm gonna be 100% real. Usually for these cards, I will not select a non-full evolution for being the worst. But because of the old Magneton existing, this Magneton right here, complete garbage, bro. Nobody literally will play it because you can't charge it. Like, You don't get the energy ramp up from the other one, or like the other one I should say. And like, dude, like unfortunately, no one will ever play this card unless you're memeing and just don't have the other one. So for psychic types, in my opinion, the worst is going to be Cresselia. Personally, I've never seen anybody even run this card. Not only that, but like 2 energy for 50, you hold 20, you only have 110 HP. I just don't think it's that good. Like, there's just better psychic types, I feel like, for 2 energy that just do more damage. And I just feel like I would never want to waste a slot on this card. Next up though, for the best, we have Miss Magius EX. 2 energy for 70 damage, you know, pretty nice, to be honest. Like, it's not like anything insane. You know, if you think it's very similar to Golduck, and like Golduck saw a little bit of play back in Genetic Apex, but it has the Confusion ability, which is a very toxic, possibly, because it never goes away unless you swap out. So like every turn, you basically force your opponent to have a 50-50 if their attack is even going to do anything. And for the non-EX, we have Togekiss doing 120 damage on the next turn, or possibly 110 or 170 if you do combine it with Cynthia. Just a very solid card. The only problem with Togekiss is that it is a stage 2 deck, and Darkrai is running, actually never mind, it is not weak to Dark, so disregard that thing. But Skarmory is very meta relevant, so if you run into a Skarmory, they get like basically one shot basically everything in this deck. If not, do a bunch of damage to it. Next up, for the fighting types, I almost just said ground, but we have Wormadam. At least this version, 3 energy for 70 damage. It is a stage 1, 120 HP. Let me just pull up another card real quick. Okay, so I have the other card pulled up. Why would you run a stage 1 that is literally the same thing as Onyx? Like, you have 10 more HP and you have a lower retreat cost, but you can't be used with Brock. So Wormadam, like, dude, this card is just, it's outclassed. There's already a card that was better than it from 2 sets ago. So like, I've literally never seen anyone even play this card. Not only that, maybe be a hot take, Wormadam's hideous. Anyways, the best card though is Rampardos, being 130 damage for 1 energy. Like, you do damage yourself if you knock something out. Doesn't matter because you're a non-EX Pokemon. The only downside of this card is that there is no fossil searcher, so sometimes you just can't find that fossil and you just lose games because of it. Like, I actually think if fossils get a searcher in a new set, I think Rampardos like is going to rise up in the meta. Yeah, so next up we have the dark types, which everybody's going to know what the best one is. But for the worst one, we have that is the wrong card. We have Toxicroak, a coin flip card. Basically, it is a worse Jolteon where for every Pokemon you have in play, you flip a coin, and it does 40 for each heads. Which means you have to have a lot of Pokemon on the bench for it to even be relevant. So I just don't think it's that good. I really don't. Like, looking at all of these dark types, like, I would literally rather play Drapion. I would rather play regular Darkrai, even Skuntank, Spiritomb, Honchkrow, literally everything. Even Mightyena, dude, like 2 energy for 60 damage. At least it's guaranteed. And for the best, we have Darkrai EX, which I'm not even going to explain. But, you know, 20 damage, shipping away every turn. Literally the best deck in the game, if not the second best deck in the game. Not only that, but it has 2 variants. It has Greninja and it also has Magnezone. And for the non-EX best, we have Spiritomb. 10 damage hits everything on your opponent's board. Does not matter if it's in the active or the bench. It just does 10 damage to every single thing on the field when you attack. Basically, it unlocks both Weavile EX to do the extra damage every time it attacks. And because Cyrus is a card, it basically allows access to everything your opponent controls, being Cyrus in, which is super annoying and toxic. So next up for the still types, our worst Pokemon is literally Probopass, a card that probably nobody even likes, or a Pokemon I should say, in the main game. If you're a Probopass fan, I am very sorry. But 4 energy, and you flip 3 coins for an additional 150 damage, possibly, you know, 50 for each heads, doing up to 180 damage. I'm just not seeing when you're ever going to use this card. But anyways, let's stop talking about this mid, and the best card is Skarmory, doing 50 damage for 50 energy. It is very strong early game, one-shotting most meta-relevant basic Pokemon in the active spot, such as Execute and Manaphy. And the worst dragon type for this set is actually dual energy, because that's the only bad thing about Garchomp, and the best dragon type is actually Garchomp, as it can do up to 150 damage, has a very broken ability, But like I said, there's only one downside, and that it is dual energy, and we currently do not have a support card that basically helps these dual energy type decks. So next up we have the normal types, and I'm not gonna lie, we really don't have much to work with there. Like we have like some solid options, like Licky isn't super bad, Porygon Z is very funny, same with Per Ugly, like they're all funny cards. Fan Rotom, you know, it's basically just a non-evolution, like you don't need the fossil, it's basically just Aerodactyl, like the very regular one. If I had to pick a best one, I will be honest, I probably will just go with Licky EX, as you can use it with Dialga, and it can give you some like funny things. Like I know it's like essentially the same thing as a Probopass, but the difference is you actually do 100 damage guaranteed. So I do think Licky is probably the best, and I guess the second best probably would be Porygon Z, to be honest, because it can control your opponent. But I'm not gonna act like any of these are like super good, where like I can like justify putting them over anyone. Anyways, for the worst, we probably just have Eevee, as Eevee does possibly 30 damage, it is 10, and if you land a heads you do 20 more. At that point, I'd rather just run the coin flip one from Mythical Island and possibly do 40 damage if I'm feeling lucky. Next up, for the worst Pokemon tool, we have the Lumberry, because Rocky Helmet and Giant Cape are just better in every situation, where Lumberry is very specific about like what you're playing against, and a lot of people don't really run like Burn or like Sleep anymore. And I forgot, for the worst fossil, it is both of them, because you can't search them, and I hate playing fossil decks. I love all the fossil cards, but I literally hate playing fossil decks, as I can never draw the fossil when I need to actually evolve my Pokemon, and then I lose. Best support card is very obvious, going to be Cyrus, and the worst one is going to be Team Galactic Grunt, as most of the cards they search, the evolutions are pretty mid. And I guess why not, because I already have the page open, and because you know I'm already looking at it. In my opinion, the best full art card is probably either Heatran. It's like Croagunk's also really strong too, but I really just like the art on Heatran. I really love the style of it. And the best 2-star card in my opinion is Yanmega. I mean, dude, the gold just looks so sick against it. It's probably like my favorite. I really don't like the 2-star, like the full art cards, I guess, are what they actually are called. But I really don't like a majority of these. But I will admit the gold Yanmega is super clean looking. And for the trainers, I will probably give it to probably Dawn. I think Dawn, I really like the background and how she pops out on it. And for the best rainbow, I probably will also go with I don't know, the best rainbow is very hard for me, because like Yanmega is really cool. I really love the sunset basically in the card. Like I love the fucking colors. And then we have Miss Magius. I love the flowers in it. Glade is really cool looking on the wall. I mean, honestly, all the rainbows are really cool. I can't say a bad thing. But I probably will pick either Yanmega or Miss Magius as my favorite. And then I mean, dude, I literally can't say, they're both peak for the immersives, and obviously the gold cards, I don't have them, so I hate both of them. Anyways, that is my opinion on the best and worst Pokemon for every type in this set. If you guys have anything, like any differences or different opinions, let me know in the comments, and peace out and have a lovely day.